What makes a car more than just a machine? Is it the power under the hood, the way it looks on the road, or the respect it commands in silence? If you're someone who lives and breathes torque curves, rugged frames, and the soul of an SUV, then you've probably had your eye on the Toyota Fortuner. And now, in 2026, it's back. But the big question is it still the king of the road, or have the rivals finally caught up? Stay with me until the end, and you'll not only know the answer, you'll also get a clear idea of whether the new Fortuner is worth your time, your money, and your garage space. Because today, it's not just about what a car does, it's about what it represents. For years, the Toyota Fortuner has been more than a vehicle. For millions across Asia, the Middle East, and beyond, it's been a symbol of trust, status, and off-road authority. It's not just admired, it's respected. That kind of reputation doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come overnight. It's built through grit, consistency, and what psychologists call the halo effect. When one strong trait, like reliability, makes people believe the whole product is excellent. But the market is shifting fast. Consumers are evolving. Today's buyer doesn't just want reliability, they want power and refinement, toughness and tech, legacy and future readiness. People now associate their car with identity, what it says about them, how it makes them feel, and the experiences it enables. Toyota knows this. And the 2026 Fortuner might just be its most strategic move yet. This year's model hasn't just been updated, it's been re-engineered, rethought, and reshaped to meet the expectations of a new generation, without letting go of what made the Fortuner iconic. That delicate balance is difficult to strike. Too much change risks alienating loyal fans. Too little, and you risk becoming irrelevant. It's a classic psychological trap in product design, known as the innovator's dilemma. Go too far ahead, and people aren't ready. Stay too safe, and you lose the edge. So, what did Toyota do? Before we dive into the features and comparisons, let's set the stage by understanding what's at stake. In the last 5 years, the SUV market has exploded in competition. Brands like Ford, Mitsubishi, MG, and even newcomers from China and Europe are bringing their A-game. Ford Everest now comes with a stunning design and strong turbo diesel options. The Pajero Sport offers impressive off-road tech. MG Gloster brings luxury and AI-powered features. These aren't small jabs, they're full-on attacks at Toyota's market stronghold. In response, Toyota couldn't afford to be passive. They had to act. And 2026 is that moment of action. But here's where the psychology of ownership comes into play. People don't switch brands easily, especially in the automotive world. According to studies in consumer behavior, cars are one of the top 3 products people become emotionally attached to, after smartphones and homes. Why? Because a car isn't just something you use. It's something that carries your family, your memories, your image. A Fortuner parked in your driveway says something. You don't change that identity casually. And Toyota knows this. That's why they didn't just aim for features in this new model. They went after emotional triggers. They designed it to feel familiar, but evolved. Stronger, but smoother, rugged, but refined. What keeps Fortuner owners loyal is what psychologists call confirmation bias. We tend to favor information that confirms what we already believe. If a Fortuner owner already believes Toyota builds the toughest SUV, then they're more likely to notice every review, every stat, every test that supports that belief. But what happens when rival SUVs start outperforming it in certain areas? More horsepower, smarter infotainment, better fuel economy. Then suddenly, that emotional shield starts to crack. People begin to question, is it time to switch? That's the hidden tension behind this video. The identity crisis that Fortuner lovers might be facing in 2026. You don't just compare specs anymore, you compare values. You compare lifestyles. So if you're watching this to find out whether the Fortuner still holds its ground, you're not just looking for numbers, you're looking for reassurance. You're asking, if I commit to this vehicle, will it still make me proud in 5 years? Will it still feel like me? That's exactly what we're about to explore. Because what Toyota has done this year goes deeper than a facelift. It signals a shift in how the Fortuner sees itself in a rapidly changing world. It's not trying to be trendy, it's trying to be timeless and timely. And that's a rare thing. Stick with me till the end of this video, and I promise you'll walk away knowing exactly where the 2026 Fortuner stands in today's SUV war. Whether it's still the alpha, or whether the rivals finally have their moment. Let's break it all down, piece by piece. The 2026 Fortuner doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to. Like a seasoned veteran walking into a room full of rookies, its presence is calm but commanding. And that's exactly how Toyota planned it. Under the hood, the biggest shift comes in the form of a more refined, more powerful engine lineup. Depending on the market, Toyota now offers the proven 2 8-liter turbo diesel, but with performance tweaks that boost both horsepower and torque without sacrificing durability. Numbers have climbed modestly, around 220 horsepower and over 500 Nm of torque in some variants, but it's the feel behind the wheel that matters more than the stats. The power delivery is smoother, more confident. Acceleration feels less forced. The throttle response has been sharpened, making it more responsive on highways and more controlled off-road. But the real game changer is the mild hybrid system now available in select trims. Toyota is finally bringing its hybrid philosophy into the Fortuner lineup, a move that many expected years ago. This isn't just about fuel economy, it's about future-proofing. Governments across Asia and the Middle East are tightening emissions rules. Buyers are starting to think long-term. A hybrid Fortuner offers peace of mind. It says, "I'm strong, but I'm also smart." That subtle balance hits the psychological sweet spot, power without guilt. Inside, the transformation continues. Step into the cabin, and it's immediately clear. This isn't the same rugged SUV from a few years ago. Toyota has learned something crucial about human behavior. Comfort matters more than ever, especially in vehicles that carry families, go on long road trips, or serve as daily drivers. The 2026 Fortuner now features a completely redesigned dashboard with a more horizontal layout, trimmed in soft-touch materials and brushed metal accents. It's not trying to be a luxury SUV, but it no longer feels like a truck either. The centerpiece is the new 12.3-inch floating touchscreen, crisp, intuitive, and finally up to the standards of today's tech-savvy buyers. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard across most variants. Voice controls have improved, and Toyota has integrated a more fluid, user-friendly interface. For buyers who once felt Toyota lagged behind in infotainment, this update sends a clear message. We heard you. In-car connectivity isn't just a feature, it's part of the ownership experience. People now expect their SUV to behave like their smartphone, fast, seamless, connected. Toyota's update taps directly into what consumer psychologists call the expectation-perception gap. If a brand delivers more than what people expect, they're not just satisfied, they become loyal. And that's what this interior aims to do. Space is also better utilized. The second and third rows now offer more legroom thanks to smarter seat positioning and slightly stretched dimensions. Ventilation reaches all 3 rows with new roof-mounted AC vents that feel more upscale. Storage areas have multiplied. It feels less like a rugged workhorse and more like a premium family SUV without losing its tough core. Toyota also made safety a priority, not as a marketing gimmick, but as part of its long-term reputation. The 2026 Fortuner now includes the full Toyota Safety Sense suite in more variants. That means adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, automatic emergency braking, and blind spot monitoring. Not all markets will get all features, but the direction is clear. Toyota is no longer behind on safety tech. This speaks directly to one of the deepest human instincts: protection. People want to feel safe. Not just for themselves, but for their family. Safety isn't just about equipment, it's a feeling. A car that gives you that sense of control and predictability builds emotional trust, and that translates to long-term loyalty. Even the small touches reflect a shift in mindset. A powered tailgate with gesture control, enhanced ambient lighting for night drives, a quieter cabin thanks to better insulation and acoustic glass. These aren't headline features, but they are experience features, subtle but powerful. They speak to what car enthusiasts often describe as feeling connected to their machine. That feeling isn't built in specs, it's built in moments. And Toyota understands that now. Exterior-wise, the changes are evolutionary, not revolutionary, but they are sharp. The front grille is now wider, with a more sculpted bumper and sleeker LED headlights. Side profiles have cleaner lines, giving the Fortuner a more athletic stance. The 18 and 20-inch wheel designs are new, and the rear tail lamps are slimmer, with a smoked-out effect in higher trims. In a market where appearance is closely tied to social status, these visual updates matter more than most people admit. This is important. In many cultures where the Fortuner dominates, your car is part of your social armor. It tells people who you are, without saying a word. Psychologically, we are hardwired to signal status through possessions, especially vehicles. The 2026 Fortuner leans into that truth. It doesn't try to look humble. It looks capable, powerful, and serious, because that's how its owners want to feel. Underneath all these changes, Toyota hasn't touched what makes the Fortuner so popular in harsh conditions. Body-on-frame construction? Still there. High ground clearance? Still generous. 4x4 low range with locking differentials? Present and proven. That mechanical durability is the bedrock of Fortuner's identity, and Toyota knows it. They're building on that, not replacing it. What we're seeing in the 2026 Fortuner is the result of psychological insight, market awareness, and mechanical heritage, all wrapped into one package. It's not trying to be everything to everyone. It's trying to be everything Fortuner buyers already loved, with just enough new to keep them proud. That's a difficult line to walk, and Toyota seems to be walking it with precision. When a vehicle has ruled its segment for so long, it eventually stops being compared. It becomes the benchmark. But in 2026, the Toyota Fortuner can't afford to relax. Because this time, the rivals aren't just catching up, some are starting to get ahead in specific areas. The question isn't just whether the Fortuner is good, the question is whether it's still better. Let's look at the direct competitors, the Ford Everest, Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, and MG Gloster. Each one is making bold moves, targeting areas where the Fortuner once had clear dominance. But the battlefield has changed. Buyers now look at more than just off-road strength. They want ride comfort, tech integration, safety innovation, and a badge that gives them pride. Start with the Ford Everest. It's arguably the Fortuner's toughest rival in recent years. Built on Ford's updated T6 platform, the Everest is loaded with intelligent features, strong performance, and a more car-like ride. The 2.0L bi-turbo diesel engine offers around 210 horsepower and a massive 500 Nm of torque, nearly matching the Fortuner's figures. But it's the ride quality that often surprises people. Thanks to its Watts linkage rear suspension, the Everest glides over uneven roads where the Fortuner still feels more truck-like. That difference matters psychologically, because comfort isn't just physical, it's emotional. A smoother ride reduces fatigue, improves long-distance experience, and subtly affects how people feel about their vehicle. Everest drivers often report a sense of calm confidence, something the Fortuner has only recently begun to match with its improved cabin insulation and damping tweaks. But where the Fortuner regains ground is long-term reliability. Ford's reputation, especially in developing markets, has been less consistent. Fortuner owners often refer to peace of mind, fewer workshop visits, and Toyota's global service network. This taps into a deep human instinct, predictability. People crave certainty, especially with expensive purchases. A car that never surprises you, in the best way, earns trust. And that's where the Fortuner holds an edge. Now look at the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport. It's the quiet fighter, less flashy, but extremely capable. With its Super Select 4 WD system, strong chassis, and well-balanced torque, it's a favorite among serious off-roaders. In terrains where traction is unpredictable, the Pajero Sport can sometimes outperform even the Fortuner. Its 8-speed automatic gearbox shifts smoothly and the turning radius is tighter, making it easier to handle in city traffic. But psychologically, it lacks one key element: perceived presence. In many markets, a Fortuner still gets more stares. It's a status symbol. The Pajero Sport may be a match technically, but it doesn't carry the same emotional weight in the minds of buyers. In branding terms, Toyota is selling confidence, while Mitsubishi is selling capability. Both are important, but when buyers want to be seen as successful, they often lean toward the car that feels more prestigious. Then comes the MG Gloster, the bold disruptor. It's not from a traditional off-road brand, but it's redefining what a full-size SUV can offer at a competitive price. The Gloster boasts twin-turbo diesel power, ADS Level 2 features, massage seats, and an interior that feels more European than Chinese. Its tech package, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, automated parking, overshadows even the Fortuner's most advanced trims. From a features perspective, the Gloster seems like the smartest pick. But there's a psychological catch. People still hesitate with new players. MG doesn't yet have the brand depth, heritage, or proven durability that Toyota carries. In consumer psychology, this is known as the trust gap. When a brand is new or unfamiliar, people become more risk-averse. They focus on what could go wrong, not just what looks good. That's why many buyers, even after being impressed by the Gloster's interior, still end up choosing the Fortuner. Because the Fortuner isn't just about what's visible, it's about what's known. That invisible confidence is powerful. Let's talk performance and drivability. Off the road, the Fortuner still dominates. It has better ground clearance than most competitors, a highly respected 4x4 low-range system, and excellent approach departure angles. In regions where river crossings, rocky climbs, or muddy trails are part of life, the Fortuner feels built for the job. It doesn't just go off-road, it belongs there, but on the road, things are tighter. The Ford Everest feels more planted and refined. The Pajero Sport handles corners better. Even the Gloster feels smoother on highways due to its multi-link suspension. That's where Toyota's body-on-frame setup begins to show its age. Though they've improved the ride in 2026, the Fortuner still carries that rugged DNA. In terms of interior design, the 2026 update has closed the gap. While Everest and Gloucester still lead with digital clusters and luxury finishes, the Fortuner's new layout, infotainment, and materials feel like a significant step forward. It now speaks to both the heart and the mind, something that was missing in older models. When it comes to brand value and resale, the Fortuner has an unshakable advantage. In resale studies across Asia and the Middle East, Toyota SUVs, especially the Fortuner, consistently top the charts. Buyers are willing to pay more for a used Fortuner than most of its competitors. That's not just economics, it's psychology. It's the idea that a Toyota is always a smart decision, even years down the line. And finally, ownership cost. Ford's parts availability and service pricing often raise eyebrows. Mitsubishi's network is improving but limited in certain regions. MG's after-sales support is still under watch. Toyota, meanwhile, is everywhere, from small towns to major metros. That network presence creates a safety net, especially in regions where reliability and support can't be taken for granted. So where does that leave the 2026 Fortuner? It may not be the flashiest, it may not win every spec battle, but what it delivers is something deeper. A balance of power, trust, and emotional security. It's the car you buy when you want strength without stress, performance without panic, and presence without pretense. And in a world full of noise, that quiet confidence still speaks loudest. Choosing a vehicle is rarely just about features, horsepower, or even price. It's about something deeper. The feeling that when you put your hands on the wheel, you've made the right decision. That quiet confidence that the car beneath you won't just perform, but will protect your investment, your image, and your peace of mind. And that's where the 2026 Toyota Fortuner continues to make its case. After comparing what it offers against the strongest rivals in its segment, Ford Everest, Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, and MG Gloucester, the Fortuner might not come out on top in every category, but it plays a smarter, more psychological game. It positions itself as a well-rounded package, engineered not just for today, but for the long road ahead. In the real world, most car buyers don't make decisions based on spreadsheets. They decide based on emotional reassurance, projected trust, and how closely a vehicle fits their self-image. According to studies in behavioral economics, consumers often overvalue familiarity and consistency when it comes to large purchases. This is called the status quo bias, the tendency to prefer what feels safe and known. The Fortuner leverages this instinct perfectly. It may not have the most advanced digital cluster, but it has the brand strength that speaks volumes before you even turn the key. That badge on the grille tells a story of years without breakdowns, of resale values that rarely disappoint, and of engineering that endures through heat, terrain, and time. This year's upgrades are not aggressive, they're intentional. Toyota didn't try to out-tech every rival. Instead, they focused on balance, improving performance, refining comfort, and integrating modern features without losing what made the Fortuner iconic in the first place. It's what psychologists call evolutionary change. Change that builds trust because it feels like a natural, stable progression, not a radical shift. Buyers who value off-road capability still have everything they need, from body-on-frame durability to terrain-specific traction modes. But now, they can enjoy it with a quieter cabin, better seating comfort, and technology that finally aligns with the expectations of 2026. For the business executive, the weekend adventurer, the family driver, the Fortuner has widened its appeal without losing its identity. On the other hand, the competition isn't standing still. The Everest wins on ride quality and interior refinement. The Pajero Sport quietly delivers solid off-road performance and maneuverability. The Gloucester tempts with luxury tech and pricing that undercuts the segment. Each of them appeals to specific buyer needs, and depending on what you value most, they might even feel like smarter picks. But the final decision often comes down to trust. Ford's network and long-term reliability are still question marks for many. Mitsubishi has fans, but limited reach in several markets. MG is the bold new player, but some hesitate when it comes to long-term durability and parts availability. These concerns might not show up on brochures, but they live in the minds of buyers, quietly influencing decisions, even if no one says it out loud. Toyota understands that, and the Fortuner reflects that understanding. The company knows it's not just selling a car, it's selling predictability, peace of mind, and a sense of belonging to a community of drivers who value strength, purpose, and legacy. The Fortuner doesn't need to prove itself on paper anymore. It has years of real-world performance to speak for it. But with the 2026 model, Toyota's saying something new. We're listening, we're adapting, and we're still in command. This message matters more than ever in today's fast-changing market. Because as features and screens become easier to copy, reputation becomes the real differentiator. People want to feel smart after they buy. They want to avoid regret. And that's what the Fortuner minimizes better than most. Even if a rival SUV offers slightly better ride comfort or a larger infotainment system, the question remains, will it still feel like a wise choice 3 years from now? Will it still carry that same presence on the road? Will service be accessible in the middle of nowhere? Will parts be affordable and resale value hold steady? For most buyers, the answer leads them right back to Toyota. Not because it dazzles, but because it delivers. Still, it's important to be honest. The Fortuner isn't perfect. If you're looking for the most luxurious ride or the latest AI driving features, you might look elsewhere. And if your definition of value is purely based on feature count for the money, rivals like MG Gloucester can look very attractive. But if what you seek is long-term ownership confidence, practical performance, and a brand that has earned its reputation the hard way, the Fortuner stands firm. It doesn't chase trends, it leads with purpose. So, is the 2026 Toyota Fortuner better than its rivals? That depends on how you define better. If better means offering the highest touchscreen resolution or the softest leather, maybe not. But if better means a vehicle that protects your investment, reflects your values, adapts to changing needs, and proves itself every single day, then yes, the Fortuner still wears the crown. Because in a world full of options, very few vehicles feel like a decision you can make with zero hesitation. And in 2026, that's still what sets the Toyota Fortuner apart.